All right, so this is a video of an entirely different category. This is a video about children and allowance and finance and parenting. So I have three children who at the moment are age 6, 8, and 10. And of all the areas in life that you try and teach children how to be a responsible adult, finance is a pretty big part of that. And as a follower of Christ, many of you may have heard that money is talked about in the Bible more than almost every other topic, maybe more than every other topic. And so what we call biblical stewardship is a really important topic. I think my parents did an excellent job teaching us kids about that. And it's part of the reason that I'm retired at 35. It's part of the reason that my wife and I have been in a position to be extremely generous with people. And I think it's a really important topic. So we started giving the children allowance a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago. And one thing that it kind of just happened. It was like I heard that my sister was giving allowance to her boys, and we hadn't really thought about it and hadn't given it much thought. And we kind of did it all at once. And for all three children, we didn't necessarily have some master plan of exactly when we would do how much. So I don't know exactly how we decided on these numbers, but all in all, I would say I'm okay with them. And so basically, this is their weekly allowance. We pay the children on Sunday, and it's their responsibility to come and find me and remind me that they would like to get paid their allowance. And we had three. We just added this fourth category called flex. So tithe, savings, and spending. I was raised that you tithe 10, save 20, and spend the rest. We've kind of upped that a little bit, and we were tithing 10, saving 40, and spending 50. But we recently implemented this flex category for the older two children. So tithe is somewhat self-explanatory. It's a tenth of their income, and it goes aside into a little piggy bank. And then at the end of the year, when we do something like Operation Christmas Child, where we shop for Christmas gifts for children who don't have gifts, the children spend their tithe money on that. Savings, we don't let them spend on themselves. We have them save that money so that they can buy each other gifts at Christmas and birthdays, and my wife and I gifts at Christmas and birthday. Spending, they get to spend on their own. And flex is something we implemented recently to basically every week when they get paid, they get to choose where that money goes. They can put it into tithe, savings, or spending. And ultimately, when the children are older, they'll get to decide what they do with all of their money. They could choose to save it all, spend it all, donate it all. And these categories are just guidelines. And so we want to teach the children good principles, but also give them the freedom to follow those principles or not. And flex is a way to do that, where they can put it in their spending every week and always spend it on themselves, or they can be generous with it. So, yeah. And then what we started doing with Peter, so Paul and Rebecca get paid once a week on Sundays. Peter gets paid for the whole month. So he comes to us on the first Sunday of the month. We count the number of Sundays in the month, and then we multiply these numbers by 4 or 5, whatever it is. So I guess there's a couple principles in here. One is at an early age to let children make their own decisions about how their money's being spent, so that they understand the value of expensive toys versus cheap toys. It teaches them to save and not let the money burn a hole in their pocket. And as Christians, we're teaching them what the Bible has to say about money. And I won't try and summarize that all here, but we are trying to teach the children to be prepared for a rainy day, which is biblical wisdom. We're trying to teach the children what the Bible says, which is it's better to give than to receive. And so we want them to be generous with one another and with others. We don't want them to trust in their money. And there's probably 30 or so more financial principles that we're trying to teach. So this is also a small woodworking topic. I thought it would be fun instead of, well, it was partly for organization and partly for fun that I made this. So basically just drilled on the drill press with some Forstner bits, some long slots, and then band sawed out these slots so you could see them, and then glued another piece on the bottom so the 3 coins stay in there. We also homeschool, and so this is great for homeschooling. We make them, pick their own coins out of here. I made this little tiny thing. It's just a little piece of brass and a little knob that I turned on the lathe. And so they can basically just put that in there and lift out the number of coins that they need. So this is great for math, and we do a lot of practicing on percentages, how to quickly find 10% and 50%, so on and so forth. It's great for finance. It's great for responsibility and accountability. And over the last 2 years, we've given the children small raises, I guess, once or twice, but also increased their chores around the house because they are working for this allowance. So something to think about and consider as a parent. I'm not saying we've mastered it. It's just one way to do it. Probably could be improved upon, but maybe it gives you a starting point if you haven't done it yet and you're wondering a good way to do it. Hope that helps somebody.